Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to talk about VECHAIN. And if you remember, in the previous video we talked about the bullish scenario in here, and I said unfortunately for now this is not going to be my primary case because I'm constantly seeing choppy and slow moves on the upside, which is a characteristic of a corrective movement. But again, in the interest of being objective, in the previous update we talked about this bullish possibility. Now I said there is a resistance area in here from daily time frame, and if we get a break of it and we continue our move on the upside in quite a rapid way, okay, fair enough. At that point I am going to change my tone a bit. However, not only we didn't break this area, we also got a very strong rejection off of it, and that kind of confirms that the primary possibility, which is the bearish one in here, might be in play. Because from this point now to about this high, maybe even this point, finding an impulse, it is actually very challenging. And I want to be very clear, we can find some sort of a 5-wave in here, and I may talk about it in the next update, but the shape of that impulse is going to look so odd to a degree that it's going to make me say, you know what, in VECHAIN, the bullish scenario should be considered as the alternate one and not the primary case, and the primary scenario is still unfortunately the bearish one. Now, what is happening in the short term? And I think we can all agree on the fact that nothing goes straight up or down, right? That's why I want to say in the short term, maybe in the next 24 to about 48 hours, you may see a move on the upside, and I have a decent argument for it. What do we have from this point to about here? We can consider two different scenarios. One possibility suggests maybe this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave down, and on a higher degree, maybe it's going to be into the C leg of an ABC zigzag. And what happens if this is the case after our C leg is over? Well, we are going to have a move on the upside. The other scenario suggests that maybe instead of an ABC, I mean, sure, this is a 5-wave down, but it might be into a wave 3, and then we're going to get correction for 4, and followed by that another move on the downside into wave 5. And again, let me ask you the same question. What happens after a 5-wave down? You know it, if you are a regular viewer of the main channel, we are going to have some sort of a move on the upside. So soon in VECHAIN, I do expect a move up, but that move up by itself is not really going to be a big surprise for me. No, for me, the shape of that move is so important, because if we get a slow and choppy move on the upside, that's kind of going to confirm the bearish scenario, suggesting we may see some more downward price action in VECHAIN. Who knows, maybe even in order to take the lowest low down here about, let's say, 2.1 cents. And then overall, at that point, you are going to see me saying probably our move down is over, and let's hope that we get a very strong recovery in order to start the next major phase of the bull run. On the other hand, if we have like a very strong move on the upside, maybe like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in order to especially get a break of this important resistance from daily time frame, which the lower band of it is about 2.7 and the higher band of it is about 2.7.5 cents. Okay, at that point we are going to say, you know what, maybe the bullish scenario is happening, and maybe, this is very important, just maybe from this point we are having an A, B, C in form of an expanded flat, which into its C leg we are kind of allowed to have a 5-wave impulsive structure down. So let's have a quick conclusion and wrap up today's video. In VECHAIN, I do think that soon we are going to get a move up, but number one, pay attention to the current move down and see, are we going to complete this pattern, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe just an A, B, C zigzag, and from here, or maybe like a bit lower, we are going to have some sort of a move up. If we complete a 5-wave down and then we get a slow and choppy move, I'm telling you that's not going to be a good sign, and at that point we can count on another move down. And I will talk about VECHAIN when we get something like this in the next updates. On the other hand, if we get a very strong recovery and we break this important level, that can be an optimistic sign, and then again I will make new updates and see where we go from there. So I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in VECHAIN, and until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.